All right, guys, so I got a couple things for you real quick. The two most important things for getting good at shooting. And when I mean good, I don't mean like I don't want to trash talk, but basically I'm talking about like high level. And I'm telling you, the top shooters competitively, there's no one in the world, special forces or anything like that, and I'm not throwing shade at tactics or anything like that. That's a whole different thing. But as far as the shooting goes, there's no better shooters in the world than top level competition shooters. They actually teach a lot of the SF guys, a lot of the tacticians and stuff, the ones that are good, they learn from competition shooters. But besides that, top two things that will make you good at shooting, in my opinion, of course. Number one is going to be a good trigger pull, meaning it's trigger control, right? We've called whatever you want it. It's basically being able to pull the trigger straight to the rear without moving your gun, moving your sights. That ability to control your trigger, and even more than that, control it on the appropriate target, is number one. So that means an easy target, right? You don't have to control as much, but being able to pull it fast on a close target without moving your sights, as well as on a very difficult target where you know your trigger so well, where you know where that break is, you bring it to the break, and then you break the shot at the precise moment where you want. You know, where you've found your spot on that difficult target, and now as your dot or your sights get to an appropriate sight picture to hit that spot, you break the shot appropriately, again, without moving the gun. And the second thing that makes a top level shooter, in my opinion, is gonna be shot calling. So the ability, not what you think, right? We're not gangsters out here. Calling shots, meaning when your sights, when you pull that trigger and it goes bang and your sights lift from the target, while your gun is still in recoil, your mind was able to take through your eyes, took a mental picture of that shot and knows exactly where that shot hit the target based on where the sights lifted from. The highest levels, you'll see guys finish a stage and they know every single shot that they took. They know everywhere it hits. They know, they'll walk off. They don't have to go look at the targets. Almost the only time you see them go look at the targets are ones where they didn't call the shot. But they'll walk to the target that they didn't call a good shot, but they're still calling a shot almost all the time. You could go through every target without them going to look at it, and they could tell you what they got on every target for every shot. Discluding steel, steel's easy because you hear it, you see it, that's no big deal. I'm talking about like on paper, on things where you wouldn't be able to see your hit, right? And they're not confirming their shot, so that means their sights lift. They're not waiting for the gun to come out of recoil, then look at the shot. That's not shot calling, that's confirming. I'm talking when the gun lifts, the sights leave the target, your eyes also leave the target to the next one. So you had to call that shot, you know where it's at, and that's what the top level guys do at a very, very high level. And those two things, trigger control, shot calling, in my opinion, are the top two things that creates a high level shooter. So now you got an idea of what to work on. There's many other things. I'm not discrediting shooting on the move, transitions, sight picture. There's many other things. I will give you this, a free third, in my opinion, to create the high level shooters is being able to execute the fundamentals under chaos, under that stress. So essentially, you get a jam, a malfunction, things are going bad. The ability to, under that pressure, under that stress or chaos, right? The ability to still execute fundamentals at a high level. So subconsciously, and this is something I get into like on my Patreon account, is conscious shooting versus subconscious shooting, and the difference and why that's such a big deal in leveling up your game, right? On how you shoot. But not to get into that too much, but essentially when things don't go right, the ability to control it and minimize the time that you wasted with that unplanned event. If you want to know about conscious and unconscious shooting, I'm going to talk about that on my Patreon a little bit more. I've already done a little bit, but we're going to dive into this a little bit more if you're interested. So anyways, those are my top 2, and I actually gave you 3. And tell me what you think. What do you think makes a top level shooter? The most important 2 things. All right, guys, let me know. See you on the next one.